at the moment, first pick has a lot of advantages going for them. Like in this example, so we as Final Tribe, you have to show a core first, and they do choose to show their hard carry. So now that they see that Secret can respond however they feel appropriate. So against a Sark, a lot of times, you know, the supports are like the main counters, like Disruptor. So that's part of the reason why they felt safe to pick it. I think right now they're going to decide on what offlaner they want to put into the Sark. So there's a lot of heroes that are really annoying, like Axe, for example.
Maybe like Doom is still
Doom. Yeah, Doom is quite annoying as well. You know, they can pick a lot of different things here. It's just that's kind of the disadvantage of the second pick, which is that you always have to show first in the second phase. So they're no matter what, Secret's going to see at least 2 cores before they end up rounding out their lineup.
Are you sold that this is going to be a support Vengeful, or could it definitely still be an Ace Vengeful, for example?
I hate it if it was... Oh my god. This is what the Secret we know and love. They pick a Necrolite. Oh my god. I mean...
You don't seem happy, and that's not a hero we see right now in competitive play.
I just don't see it matching up all too well against a lot of these heroes. I mean, the easiest hero for him to kill is basically the support heroes. Generally, I like to see this when he just crushes the safe lane on its own. This leaves him susceptible to a couple different offlaners, like a Puck, for example, could be really annoying because you would never catch him out. He can CS pretty fine, and he has the magic to burst through your Ghost Shroud. But just thinking along those lines, you would want to pick something now from the Final Tribe that would crush Necro in lane. Then that'll be a big problem, because if you don't have the guaranteed matchup, I mentioned that Vengeful Spirit is quite a weak laning support, so you would either have to have the IO represent, or yeah. But actually, you know what, this could be the classic offlane IO Necrolite. I think that's something I did.
The classic? Is that really a classic?
Oh, it is a classic, definitely. It's something that went back to, I remember Eternal Envy running this a lot, possibly even on Secret with Puppey. I'm not quite sure about that, but you know, when you tether the Necrolite and then he throws out the Death Pulse a lot of times in reaction, you are healing double, and this is something that's really, really annoying because you can sustain super well in the lane. Necrolite as an offlaner, I like it way more than if it was the carry, because they have some serious issues in terms of physical damage. I mean, yes, they can kill heroes, but if with this lineup, if they choose to pick another offlaner hero, besides, you know, like picking a physical carry, they will have issues ending the game. They will have to accrue such a massive advantage to even think about winning the game. So I really do think this might be an offlane Necro, or at least an IO Necro pairing.
Okay. TfT seems like they almost have that idea as well, because they actually ban out the Bloodseeker, which is great against Slark, for example. So along those lines, they still need the Ace hero. We'll see what Secret decides to ban here. Speaking of TfT, again, they mentioned that final pick, potentially that offlane. I know Jonas Fan does play a fair amount of Magnus. I know he's not the most popular hero right now in competitive play, necessarily, but that could potentially be something to think about. They ban Axe, though. So Secret.
Yeah, I think Magnus would, just in general with Slark, could be pretty good, but I think they're thinking more along like how they will counter Team Secret out. Oh my god, what? Okay, so he's playing offlane Wind Ranger then. And that's
Wait, what? No, it's Pablo Wind Ranger. Arrow Medusa and Jonas Fan will play Death Prophet offlane? Okay.
Okay, well, that's quite interesting. Death Prophet offlane is not very common, but I know some people like to practice it in pubs, including S4. So there's definitely some viability in Mu as well. I mean, offlane DP, I didn't really see a good reason to put it in offlane, but I guess they felt that this is a really good Medusa game, which I definitely agree that like there's not really a good counter to it. One thing that Medusa does want to be afraid of is the vengeful swap in the late game scenarios where you're sieging high ground. She could swap you into pretty much the tier 5s, and then that's a big issue. Tier 4s. I never like to see Void carry in general, but as a carry into Slark, it's quite good. You can always lock him down regardless of his ultimate or not. And a lot of times that just gives you enough room to set up another disable or just have the fall through damage. I do think that it was a very nice ban on the Bloodseeker from Final Tribe. If Secret did pick up the Bloodseeker on that 4th pick, it could have been pretty devastating. But they did. It seemed like they really wanted this Void. Like usually you don't you know, snap pick it that quickly unless you had a plan.
Well, the Medusa was really snap picked. I mean, that happened. It's like they didn't even care what they final picked on the secret side. They just went Medusa right after. So, I got some questions for you though, Fluff. Definitely one that's really standing out to me is this Faceless Void pick. Again, the final pick. The idea, I'm thinking about it, and going up against a Medusa and a Warlock specifically who have that great counter initiation, you know, with the Stone Gaze and the Golem, they also don't necessarily have the greatest follow-up to a Chronosphere, right? Where they don't got that, you know, that Viper, for example, or whatever range core that's just nailing in damage when that Chronosphere is up. You know, Ember Spear is not necessarily going to be doing that. So are these concerns for you, or is it really not that big of a deal?
See, a lot of the time I'm really concerned about Secret's drafts. And a lot of times I'm proven wrong. So
fair enough.
I never want to count out what goes on their minds, but from what I understand, I think Secret's one of those teams that drafts kind of together, like where each player has their own say, or at least that's what I've heard. I can't confirm that, but definitely, like, you know, if players feel that they see a good opportunity to pick weird things, like, you know, the mid Phoenix or the offlane Necro, like they do say so that as a drafter, having that kind of mindset, it can lead to a lot of situations where your heroes don't necessarily synergize or give you the win conditions that you need, or like you lack certain things. You're just kind of trying to counterpick the enemy. I'm not always a big fan of that, and for me, Secret does this quite a bit. So for Final Tribe, I definitely agree with you. Like, they have great counter initiation for the Void, and yeah, like, just looking on paper, I do like Final Tribe draft, but you never know when it comes to Secret.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I always like to do that too. You know, kind of just looking at the drafts, try to not take the teams into consideration. And frankly, I do think this is somewhat evenly matched. Yes, Secret, the maybe slightly higher skill because of obviously their progress this season and everything, but this is a much more newly formed team in TFT, but still with players with plenty of experience. Point is, though, I agree with you there. It feels like TFT's draft is arguably a bit stronger across the board, but like you're talking about, the Secret's not afraid to try things, do a little bit different sometimes, and definitely make it work as well as they've proven time and time. In fact, we are seeing this, as you put it, classic IO Necrophos offlane coming out for Secret. How's it work? How's it going to work down here? Is this going to actually work pretty well?
Yeah, they can survive quite a bit. It's really hard for Slark because they don't have any disables. A Ghost Shroud into Teleport Scroll for the Necrolite pretty much guarantees that he will survive every single time unless he missteps or uses it a little bit early. Pretty much the IO just needs to watch out, get the levels he needs. He will fulfill his role. I do have to say, though, as much as we're talking about Final Tribe, it's extremely greedy to have both a Medusa and a Slark. These heroes are some of the most extreme late game heroes that you can pick together. And like, Team Secret's lineup, the way they have to play, the way that it's engineered, is that they're going to have to play very fast to get a lot of kills and set a very high pace and tempo in this game. And, you know, as much as those heroes scale well into the late game, if they don't get to that point or if they get so disadvantaged, that could be a big issue. And that's kind of Secret's window here.
That's a good point. We're going to see a pause coming out from Era there. Apparently we had mouse issues in yesterday's series, all the games from TNC side, and now the Final Tribe are having the similar issues. But yeah, no, that is a great point, though, about the greed. Yeah, Slark and Medusa both definitely, and hell, even Death Prophet is not necessarily, you know, of course, when she gets level 6, getting extras and pushing a tower is something that she can do, but it's going to be a bit of time before they want to really take fights on their side, so I'm sure Secret going to take that in consideration. With that in mind, especially, Faceless Void, what kind of build do you expect of it? Is this going to be the Battle Fury game, or does he maybe go the early Mask of Madness, for example?
Well, he is the sole DPS on this lineup. It's kind of only between maybe two choices and maybe one more situational, I guess, which is either the Mask of Madness BKB or the Battle Fury, and then just kind of scale it up. I think either choice is fine, as he's the hard carry and there's no one really even remotely close to that role, so it's totally fine for him to go greed. Yeah, I mean, like, overall though, this lack of catch on the Final Tribe can be an issue. The Ember should have a pretty good game, and Ember is one of those heroes that can burst through the Slark if he chooses to use his Shadow Dance defensively. A lot of times you just triple Remnant on top and they will kill him, so Slark isn't going to have exactly the freest game, as well as we did talk about Void being able to Chronosphere him, so they will have to worry about Slark falling behind in the mid game, especially if Medusa can't really contribute. So I think Ember should have quite a good game. The Void, he can play fast if they want to just push the tempo, but I do think that he should just try to farm up and give him a win condition.
Well, right now, Ember Spirit is having that great start. Again, mid one, a very comfortable hero for him. He's 15-2. Against Medusa's 11-1, so definitely having the better time. All the cores are actually farming pretty well. In fact, Slark is the worst off, and I mean, I can't say I'm really too surprised by that. Going up against that Io Necrophos, we talked about it. That no doubt is going to be a very annoying combo that he's dealing with, and clearly it's affecting the CS top lane. Almost diving the tower a bit, but with that win run, he'll be fine. However, he does take a couple of extra tower hits. But he does have a salve to heal up and be fine in the end. 3.5 minutes in, though, still no first blood. We're not even seeing the most action in this landing phase. It feels pretty passive overall to start.
Yeah, it's kind of like bottom. They cannot kill Necro at all. So he will just have a free time of it. At mid lane, the Medusa is not really going to threaten Ember all too much. But Ember as well, until he's level 5 or 6, he can't really kill Medusa unless he steps out of position. He can also choose to... Well, he's actually going on the mid lane, but nothing of it. He can actually use Sleight of Fist strategically to dodge the Mystic Snake, which is probably something he has been doing, I'm sure. And that is basically the only tool that Medusa has for harassing the lane opponent. So, of course, he's going to have a really good time. And he also picks up a Regenerate. Quite nice. One of the good things about Void, though, at least for a carry, we did talk about how Venge is just such a bad laning support. Like we're seeing a bit of that where, you know, he's not getting much support from Puppey, but at least, you know, he is played as an offlaner at times, and it's because Time Walk is just so nice for escaping and being a little elusive. Once he gets level 6, they're going to look to use Chrono on cooldown, potentially, and then just get a kill. That's probably their best bet here, but they just have to soak it up.
Right now, Death Prophet, so far the one that's doing the best on the Final Trap side. You do have Medusa also doing pretty good, but Jonas and Fan off to that great start. Again, technically playing more of an offlane Death Prophet. You still expect to see that Yules build, though. Any reason why it would be any different here from a Death Prophet?
No, I think it's going to be Yule, like classic Yules, Blink Dagger, Aeon Disc. Nothing different.
Ooh, Pablo. They're going at it. Somebody may die right here. The Shackle Shot does line up. Puppey gonna take some more auto attacks. So that the magic missile. The wave Terry gets the first blood. The power shot comes out, but Puppey doing the damage in the end to secure that kill. He manned up right there. He knew that he had enough damage, and he was right in the end. Well played.
Yeah, that was well played. I think Pablo, he needed to line that shackle shot up such that he could power shot immediately, but it had 1 second remaining. He shackle shot a little bit early, and that was pretty much the reason why he went down. A little bit of misplay, but really nice for Puppey, recognizing he gave man fight. So this Slark, the good thing is that Slark is not the main carry. In a lot of ways, he's kind of the 2 position in this line. Well, he is the 2 position, 100%, yeah. But you know, it's not a big deal that he's getting shut down because they counterpicked him to hell. He's gonna have our game regardless. It's all about the Medusa right now, so that's where the focus should be.
Speaking of, well, Slark again at the bottom lane, he's having trouble, as you mentioned, but Necrophos on the other side having a fantastic time. And yet, similar question I ask you, Fluff, you know, in this case with Necrophos, not a guy we see often, what direction does he go, and you think? But I'll give you some more time to think about it, because we do have some possible action. Magic Missile in the backlines, Warlock, all of a sudden he's being caught, and the orbs all just connecting in the face of Hanskin. The Shadow Word heal, I don't believe it's going to be enough. The Death Bolt comes out and will finish the job. FATA, credit for the kill right there. I'm getting a little low, but not low enough. Those Fiddle Bonds, not enough work in the end. Top tower is going to be pressured, however, by TfT.
We get the bottom tower as well for Secret. I saw YapzOr. He was overcharging the catapult for quite a few seconds, which is really significant as a siege damage mid lane. Triple Remnant.
Oh, that mana shield. Mid one's going to die. It's going to be a turn kill. Eric gets the kill. Warlock comes in. And he's like, you know, you didn't even need me. He gets there and he's gonna maybe just heal him up a little bit, but also throws out the counter ward. But yeah, mid one going a little bit too mainly there onto Medusa.
Top lane's getting pressured really hard. There's not much that Void can do. Pablo should look to shackle so he can set up. Don't get denied. Don't get denied.
Ooh, okay. Nice job.
All right, nice. So back to Necro, right?
Yes.
I'm a really big fan of Necro getting Aghanims and just and like a Blink Dagger, because look at top lane, is something happening.
Yeah, they're going to land the Shackle Shop onto IO, and will it be enough follow-up damage? Oh, looks like the siphons out. The Quipster goes through and gets the kill ace. He's going to time walk, heal up all that damage, and will survive, but good pressure from TfT at the top and taking out YapzOrs.
Yeah, it's really hard lane top. Just bench cannot do anything whatsoever, so we're just gonna have to soak it up. But at least Necro's doing well. But yeah,
no. Puppey finds the kill though on Pablo. Yeah, go figure. This game was so passive for so long. Now all of a sudden action starts picking up, and Warlock, it'll continue. The orb's all going to connect. Good placement from YapzOr and sets it up for mid one to finish the job. So you see Secrets moving around now as 4 heroes at least. Again, FATA, he's still at that bottom lane, pushing it in. Well, at least we have an early answer. He is going to go the Veil of Discord. Currently queued up. Mid one, meanwhile, finds Death Prophet. This is a pretty significant kill for Secret, no doubt. We mentioned how Jonas was having a decent start. That'll slow things down a bit. Mid one also getting the double kill out of it, but back to the bottom lane, FATA's fine. He just TPs.
Well, they actually have only one disable, which is the Shackle Shard right now, and maybe Warlock Rock at some point, but that's going to be a big problem. Necro could just easily farm, and this buys a lot of space for Ace now in top lane. Let's see what he does go. He has 1200 gold. I feel like Battle Fury is appropriate, but you know, it hasn't been nerfed for a little bit, so sometimes people have changed their build recently. I haven't seen a Void since that point, but yeah, back to what I was saying. I was just really fast. I think the Aghanim Scepter on Necro is really insanely broken. The cooldown gets reduced by a ton. Just massive uptime. A lot of times you can use it two times in a fight, and putting people down for that long with the added respawn duration penalty is insane, and the stats are always nice for him as well.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that in 7.14 he did get that buff there to the respawn time. God, it's all the way up to, what was it, 45 seconds now? Yeah, 45 seconds at level 3. Even at level 1 though, I mean, it's 15 extra seconds. That can be very significant in the early game. So looking forward to those Reaper Scythe kills, at least Secret is. And FATA in a great spot to do so far. Again, the Veil of Discord just around the corner. Gonna go Blink next, it looks like. We'll see if that Axe comes along. Maybe it's gonna be depending on the pace. I know, you know, Dagon is definitely possible too, right? If he just really starts kicking off with that Blink dagger, we could possibly see the Dagon come out.
It's possible, but I feel like he just wants to build items that will give him more HP overall. It's all about surviving in this game, and when you pop Ghost Shroud, a magic wand, and Death Pulse, a lot of times you just heal straight back to full, if not like 3/4, and that's when you reset the fight with the Reaper Scythe and just take over.
Yeah.
Pretty much, the way that I feel about this game right now is that Secret has a lot of advantage right now in terms of what they can do.
Well, Secret might lose YapzOr, or maybe not. He's healing up, overcharged, gonna go for the relocate, and yes, YapzOr's will get away. Konosphere off to the side. You see Necrophos trying to survive himself. Another Death Pulse gonna be happening. They're gonna take out Slark, maybe no. Shadow Dance in the last second, he'll manage to survive. Power Shot goes through. So far, nobody dead. YapzOr coming back in a couple of seconds, but Necrophos actually gonna be run down. Jonas fan with that Exorcism as well as a Siphon finishing the job. YapzOr connecting up to Puppey to get away, but now Medusa having to use the Stone Gates. They do lose Pablo in the back. That's a support Wind Ranger. Mid one, double damage rune. They're going to look to chase down Houndskin, and number-wise, it's going to be in favor of Secret, but again, they lose Necrophos, who still technically is top farm in the game, so I think you could argue TfT winning that fight overall.
Kind of. The fact is that they had to use all 5 of the heroes for that rotation. I'm even surprised they went for that play to begin with. It would be an absolute disaster if mid one was even remotely close to that fight, where he could react or TPs a bit earlier. Like, I was kind of alluding towards this before the fight broke out. I think Secret can basically do anything they want right now. The way that I feel is that they have the heroes that have the most aggressive abilities, where Final Tribe, the way that they set up kills, it has to be so complicated, and a lot of times they have to bring like large numbers using smokes. Secret has the mobility. It's very hard to lock down this Ember in particular, and he's gonna, like I said, he's gonna have a free game, but what they should do is they're just gonna play very aggressively around this Ember. And I feel like TfT has to just be dodging that the entire time until Medusa or Slark is strong enough to fight.
Well, Ember Spirit does say level 10. He went the bots first for his item of choice, so the mobility kicking in, and actually coming to the top lane. Frost nearby, going the last of the creep camp, now running away. Hanskin also here has a Katic offering. Oh, this is dangerous play. Warlock's gonna run forward. Slark's just gonna keep on going back. Question is, will they look to turn on the mid one? You did stress, though, they do lack the lockdown. However, Silence... Oh, never mind. Death Prophet doesn't have it yet. So they don't even have that, and there's the Remnant out quickly from mid one. So it seemed like TfT was definitely setting up to try to make a play, but yeah, without Shackle Shot nearby, she was running over. Not in time though. That is going to prove to be an issue. And so items, what, like I guess Scythe eventually wouldn't be bad, but that's of course going to be a while. And who gets that even in this game? So yeah, they need something though.
Their lineup is so greedy. It's I have to wonder if they felt that Sark was so countered, because like I can definitely see that where you feel like, okay, this game is very hard for Sark to carry us. This game would just pick another carry, but they did snap pick it, so it might have been their strategy. Okay, we swapped in mid lane, but TP's out, yeah.
Yo, nice job.
I feel like any single fight that Secret takes, they will win it hands down, unless something terribly happens.
They want to take a fight right here. Mid one going in. Remember, Chaotic offering is ready. Great shackle on 2 heroes. So TP attempt not going to work out. Both Wind Ranger and Warlock will fall. However, the Dire Courier gets picked off. And that was both a Veil and a Drums finish for the team. So that's a little bit of tempo lost from Team Secret as far as these next couple of minutes go. Unfortunate for them, but again, getting 2 support kills. And also, we do see Fluff. Faceless Void is going to Mask of Madness. So speaking of tempo, he wants an item that will be more useful in the game right now, right? Than compared to that Battle Fury for the late game.
I mean, if you can avoid it and you could take fights and pressure them with their lineup being so greedy, it makes a lot of sense to go for that line of thought. Like, you know, why let this Medusa farm when you can just group up as 5? They have these 2 greedy heroes on their core positions. Like, you could probably take over the game if you bring your 5 heroes to every fight.
Speaking of Mask of Madness, Medusa has hers. That's probably more expected, and she's gonna actually take out I want to say that's a quad stack of Anciency even that she's working at, so great progress. And she actually takes over the top net worth in the game as a result of doing that. Necrophos, of course, talked about the Veil. Again, he's been working on it for a while, but gonna be delayed another minute 45 as the recipe currently on that Courier. Whose drums were those, but was that
Puppey.
Vengeful? Okay, yeah, Puppey's.
Yeah, he's really fast.
Yeah,
Look at bottom. Wow. They smoked Void, and they can just relocate the Necro in, so they will have the 5v5 they want. They will outnumber every single time here.
Bounty runes, 15-minute spawn. You see Secret. Runes! I'm gonna go for it. Puppey will pick up the ones over here, so good control from Team Secret. Frost, they really want him killed. He does have Shadow Dance, however, and once again, maybe, oh, that relook you're talking about, Chronosphere will come in as well, and Warlock ran right into it. No Chaotic offering as a result. Do they have the follow-up damage on the Slark, though? Can he maybe pounce away the Dark Pack? He's going to be firing out the 5-man Chaotic offering, then Power Shot through with those Fatal Bonds. Ace is like, I'm out of here, guys. I'm not going to make a play. They get the initiation on a Warlock. They will finish him off as well as Slark, but now the Exorcism is here. Medusa's currently farming middle lane, so she's not going to be assisting. FATA manages to TP out in time, and Team Secret, it looks scary there for a second with that 5-man Chaotic offering. But they managed to get the both kills, and everyone actually escapes in the end. Arrow will push the middle tier 1. A little bit of positive there for TFT, but definitely some solid play from Secret.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been so much worse, but they do use the Chaotic offering, so this is another go time for Secret. I don't think they would ever let go of the throttle, but you know, right now, like everyone on Secret's very farm. Like the IO has Helmet Dominator, Urn. Puppey has his drum on the Courier. One thing that I do want to bring up, which is kind of funny, is that Puppey is notorious, and on every single duo he's been with, like YapzOr with Kuro, he's notorious for not buying wards. And in that situation on the bottom lane, if they did have a ward where they smoked and saw the Medusa, they would have just cleanly wiped the entire engagement. It's kind of funny he doesn't really buy them.
Death Prophet, that's, I want to say, our first Reaper Scythe we've actually seen this game. And oh my god, she's dead for 1 full minute at 16.5 minutes into the game. That's what we're talking about, because that is the level 2 Reaper Scythe now, so that's 30 seconds extra. What would have been 30 seconds since it's at 60 seconds. That's pretty ridiculous. Helm of the Dominator, by the way, picked up on IO as well, and we've seen this combination before, especially in a lot of these pub games. You know, you tether up to the creep, you move extra fast. Medusa, they will kill up the Centaur. The middle tower does go down. Mid one last hit credit, though, in favor of Secret. You can tell Secret's really getting that tempo, that word we keep going back to, Fluff. It's definitely kicking in high gear now. 5,000 net worth lead. It feels like they're playing this right.
Yeah, I mean, they are. But, you know, Void with Massive Madness being your only physical DPS, it's going to be hard for them to take objectives until he gets a little bit more farm. So there is going to be a little buffer for TFT to just continue farming. the Medusa is performing very well. So, you know, the hero that does need to be performing well is. So we just have to make sure that Medusa is having a good game and just continue her, just getting her timings correct.
Ember Spirit just gonna say hello, but no, he wants to say goodbye quickly. And one took a lot of damage right there against Medusa, maybe more than he thought he would. But bottom tier 2, it's gonna be killed off. Again, TfT just not in a spot to fight. It just goes back to the idea of how greedy this lineup is. Chaotic Offering still 10 more seconds before off cooldown. So at least Hanskin will have it in a second. But Slark has a Shadow Blade. Something I want to go back to as well before that fight took place recently. You're mentioning about the ward game from TfT. Or I guess more so from Secret.
Yeah,
having a Slark though could obviously make it a little more difficult with that Shadow Dance passive. And I think we've already seen that come into play a couple of times with some counter warding even. But top lane, they're running in. Necrophos at least wants to. Again, he's not scared to swap out. They go for Codasphere. The Chaotic Offering actually hits. Codasphere does eventually come out. Hits actually 4 heroes, including Slark and Medusa, but the Stone Gaze in response. Puppey's getting low. They do kill off Death Prophet. Frosty's running in with the Shadow Dance. So far, DP's the only one dead. Here comes Ember Spirit. Another double damage room picked up. Both supports going to fall as a result, and he wants more damage. He's going to keep going forward. Searing Chains in 1 second. All that mana's gone, though, thanks to the Mystic Snake. But Era, I don't think he's getting out of this one. This is going to be his first death of the game. They already used the Reaper Scythe, but they get the kill. That's what matters. A 4-0 for Secret. 8,000 net worth lead now after that fight. And maybe Roshan's looking juicy now.
Yeah, they can definitely try. I mean, this is one of those cases where you just run in and see if you can do it. And if you feel like you don't have enough DPS, you just back out. Like sometimes with all the changes to Roshan, sometimes pros don't really know exactly how quickly it goes down. But in this situation, DP and Medusa are not coming up. They look like they have enough DPS here, so they will get the Aegis. The only reason why that fight even went remotely well for TfT was because of a really nice silence from the Death Prophet. He did silence Puppey, who was going to go for a swap and put heroes in a really bad position, and that bought them enough time to drop the Rock and the Shackle on top, which did get them a kill. However, I do not think TfT should be taking any fight. Secret has so much pressure in this game.
Yeah, so it's hindsight a little bit, but again, you have really been talking about that, so it's not even necessarily that. It's why is TfT even pushing like that as a team all the way to a tier 2 tower? They still need bigger and better items, specifically on the Medusa. Again, Slark is right now just sitting with that Shadow Blade. He is trying to work towards an Echo Saber, but the Shadow Blade came later than he would have liked already. Top lane, Yonasan fan is going to manage to run away in time. Pablo, though, maybe he's going to sacrifice himself to help his teammate win run coming out, but Puppey's like, I got a magic missile for you. The orbs finish the job. YapzOr, credit for the kill. And you know, I love seeing this Helm of the Dominator too, because like I said, it's not only decent synergy with Ion and Tether Target if he wants, but it's a great R to have. And they relocate to the middle lane. They get the kill on Warlock off the bat. Era, he's popping the Stone Gauge, just hoping to run out, channels the TP, and it will be in time. Ace running in, no Chronosphere. Maybe hoping for a bash, but wasn't to be. Actually escapes in the end, but again, Secret keeps momentum going. So yeah. What is the item that TFT's waiting for? Like, is it Medusa getting 6 slotted essentially? Is that the game plan here?
Yeah, it's not necessarily an item. There's no BKB timing or anything. It is just them holding out until those cores get really fat. I mean, the best timing they possibly would have would be like maybe a butterfly on Medusa is one they could push out, because if there's no MKBs, then she would have really good timing there. But yeah, overall, they just have to hold out and not take fights until it gets to the late game, and potentially even lose 1 Rax. The Necrolite is going for Radiance, and he has completed it, so that's the item in question. So, you know, FATA likes to play these... He likes to play very greedy on a lot of his heroes, so not really surprised by this choice. It's just personal preference for him. I do think that a lot of the reason why the Secret lineup can even get this much momentum is just because of how greedy TfT is, so... I'm not really sure if that would go down well in a normal game, but definitely in this game he can play as greedy as he wants. It's gonna go late. They don't have the damage to really run up into the high ground until the void's really fat.
We didn't talk too much about this yet, but Maelstrom, the item of choice for Ember Spirit, he's going to go right into Mjolnir. After the fact, the Chronosphere catches too. Warlock once again part of that, as well as Death Prophet. The Reaper's side finishes Death Prophet. Again, she's dead for a minute. No Chaotic Offering because Warlock's dead. And Wind Ranger off to the side also got picked up. Necrophos has that Radiance, by the way, as that fight initiated. And, yeah, we were talking about the idea of an Ags, and maybe it's something overlooked. I know you're stressing the idea of a IO when he was picked up. Again, that level 15 talent, he does bring the Ags to his teammates, so as long as he's tethered up, then Necrophos, hell, even Faceless Void could benefit from that. with the Chronosphere, of course. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see that come into play.
Even Ben, for that matter. That's just kind of funny. Top lane.
Okay. Now mid one's like, guys, I'm going to go kill him top lane real quickly. That just happened.
Yeah, this is... I mean, when you pick heroes like this, there's 3-2-2, by the way. But it's...
Yeah. It's a time to concede. We're no, just kidding.
No, not yet.
Secret's going to fall back, but...
I mean, it's not one of the games where you get run over and you're like, you have no hope anymore. It's like, definitely they can scale into this game. Definitely they have two very strong carry heroes. You know, they can afford to lose one Raxus. Definitely come back from that. Even two lanes if it gets that long. And we do know TfT has a, you know, they love going late game. Like they've had so many, you know, mega creeps on them type of games that we've casted. So they're definitely used to it.
Jonas, he's in trouble once again. Relooking it, but the chaotic offering will come out this time. Necrophos, he's gonna pop that ghost shroud. They lose Isle though, and Necrophos are gonna melt away to the exorcism. He goes down. Actually, Arrow's here to assist. Ember Spirit's gonna go for the TP play. He does have a remnant nearby, but that would be a pretty ballsy play on his part. Vengeful Spirit pushing out mid. You got Faceless Void bottom lane. Hey, see the sorry coming out from YapzOr. Clearly, that was one of those relocates where the second it hit, they're like, ah, crap, this is a bad decision. It's not getting that Warlock ultimate. Good turn. That's what TfT needs, though. The more that they can kind of slow down Secret from truly pushing in their base, as we've been stressing. I mean, again, this is what TfT needs to be doing. Buy the time for Medusa to get those 6-slot items. Faceless?
Chrono.
Yeah, is that a... it's going to be close. Oh, he doesn't have Shadow Dance.
Oh.
Never mind. No Shadow Dance, no getaway.
Well, and, you know, normally we don't like to see Lincoln Sphere on Medusa just because it slows down her timing so much, but she's forced in this game. Absolutely forced because there's a Vengeful, which is why I mentioned it's so good against her. Even aggressively, if they're knocking on their doorstep, they swap into Medusa, she's out of position, then they'll chrono the rest of the team running in, and then, you know, even just chronoing the Medusa to stop the Stone Gaze. A lot of times she's just in such a compromised position where she can't even do any damage, she'll just blow up.
Level 15 IO, he is tethered up to Necrophos right now. So currently that cooldown will be all the way down to 25 seconds at level 3 right now. 40 seconds anyways. They're going for Medusa. She pops the Stone Gaze, however. Lincoln's was activated. Arrow still taking some good damage. They have that Reaper Scythe. Can he get in range? Yes, they can. Out comes the Reaper Scythe. 100 seconds. No buyback for Medusa. Death Prophet does get picked up as well. She does have a buyback, but Exorcism still on cooldown for 35. This is very likely going to be the base being siege. Pablo's just up here getting picked off in the meanwhile. Thanks to the win, or thanks to mid 1, and they're at least getting the middle set of racks. Possibly more. Medusa's dead for 80 seconds still.
No buybacks. This is at least 2.
Gonna go bond him. Because why not? BKB on Faceless Void just in case now. Ember Spirit did finish the full Mjolnir. And Necrophos sitting comfortably with that Radiant still. And there's that overcharge on Faceless Void on top of everything. So yeah, definitely bottom set of racks. I mean, hell, did they just go? Well, they can't go the top one because there's a tier 2 tower. Probably just going to retreat from here. Maybe wait for another Roshan and then try to finish the game from there is probably the overall game plan from Secret.
They can... Now all they need to do really is just play around topside, ward it up, deward, make sure that Jonas can't walk out. Or I mean, TfT can't walk out at all. And then if they get any pickoff whatsoever with a swap, which is really easy, that's just a high ground again.
Bottom shrine is under attack.
Slark is frankly, and you know, I'm somebody that I have history with Frost. He used to be known as Nox back in the Han days. Notoriously one of the best farming players in the Han days. And for TfT, he's actually been a player that has shined, I feel like, in their recent success. He's been basically useless this game. He's 0-3-2 on Slark as your safe lane carry. It's been pretty horrific. It kind of goes back to the makeup though, and overall greed as well. Because right, you know, he hasn't really had heroes. I mean, Warlock support's not somebody you're roaming around with to get kills either. It's kind of a funky Slark game.
Yeah, I think when they were in that position in the draft, they did intend for Slark to be their hard carry, but after seeing what Secret reacted with, I think they felt like they couldn't, and maybe. The only reason why I don't think it's them panicking was because they snap picked that Medusa so quickly. but I just can't stand behind that strategically, as it's just way too greedy. I mean, it's kind of like having, it's not as bad as having like an anti-mage and a spectre on the same team, but it's pretty close. It's just like both of these heroes rely on their team to create space for them so that they can, you know, ideally even Slark, his best timing is level 25, where he gets that plus 120 essence shift. He can't even get to this point whatsoever. And
oh boy, yeah. Top lane, this could be a final fight if it goes very well for Secret. You see Remnant out from mid 1. They may reset this now. TfT, I don't think they realize Chronos 3 on 3 different heroes. Ace just gonna run in BKB, takes a Wind Ranger. He's gonna go for a Warlock. No chaotic offering as a result once again. Medusa just locked down the whole time. FATA, he's busy dealing with the Death Prophet. A Reaper Scythe will not get the kill. However, she's staying dead. They kill everyone, including Slark. Wind Ranger does buy back immediately, but you can kind of see that coming a mile away, at least from our perspective. I was gonna say, and I'm pretty sure GG is in the mind, at least from the final tribe. So game 1 will go the way of Secret. Great performance from them. Outdraft, outplayed. It was just everything across the board.
Yeah, I mean, didn't really have too much of a game. TfT, I guess, not really understanding the strategy overall that they need to play under. They took a lot of fights in the early and mid games, specifically that bottom fight, and then also tier 2 top, where they forced the fight of Secret, where, you know, there's basically no way that they win that unless there's a mistake happening or they get really lucky. They need to play this far more slowly and just split the map. But overall, just way too greedy. I want to see them play up to Secret's pace here. Secret, you know, no hard carry whatsoever, Void. They are just looking to fight. Jonathan was drafted.